Forward to the clock. Morning, morning, morning. So I'm Kim, and I host this Essential Emotions discussion on Monday mornings, 9:30 Pacific time, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. And the past few weeks, we've been reviewing the 12-step program and just going through some of the questions and also talking about holistic coping skills to use as these feelings and old emotions arise, so that we have ways to change. There's no way around, it's through. So I apologize for my dogs in the background. We have a guy working on like a sprinkler thing that needs to be fixed. So step 7, let me pull it up on my screen here. Well, first I'll do some ground rules because we've got a new friend here, Jess, and Karina's, I think you've been to the thing before, but so this, in order for it to be a safe space for us, when we share, if you can try and say, identify what your needs are. So if I go to share, I'm going to say, I'm open for feedback, or I would love if you guys would just listen. So what that does is we're training ourselves. This isn't necessarily a real life situation, so it's a good safe place to do it, so that us as listeners, we are not letting our head go off into like solution mode. We're just being active listeners. And for feedback, that means you know exactly what it is that you want, so it helps you figure that out. So let me share my screen real fast. Are my dogs really loud? I don't know if it's just like me that can hear it.
They're loud, but they're not. It's not horrific.
Okay, sorry. They really want to go see the sprinkler man. Okay, let me go to my email. Can you guys see that? Rich says, humbly asked to remove our shortcomings.
Yes.
Okay. So what's interesting about this one, I'll just go ahead and read. So step 7 is, step 6 was where, let me go back and read it. And I'm using the 12 steps and 12 traditions workbook. And I'll show you that to you in a second. We're in step 6 is we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. And then step 7 is we humbly ask God to remove our shortcomings. And you can replace the word God with universe, with whatever it is that's working for you. This isn't meant to be like only specific for each person. So I'll just go ahead and read it. The direction in this step is simple. It is not resulted. I don't think my brain is good for reading. Someone else read.
You want me to?
I'm not there yet.
I can read it. I've got my
Okay.
own book open here.
Thank you.
The direction in this step is simple. It is not results oriented. Oh, that's good. We ask and then let go. With the acceptance of a loving higher power in our lives, we become willing to believe our shortcomings will be removed. By the time we get to step 7, we may have strong feelings about our shortcomings and our past behaviors. We recognize the harm we have caused ourselves and see our inability to change our behavior through self-will. We realize that our shortcomings are harmful, therefore we humbly ask our higher power to remove them. Asking that our shortcomings be removed may be scary. In our childhoods, when we were vulnerable and admitted our imperfections, terrible things happen. Because of this history, it may never occur to us to be vulnerable and ask something of our higher power. We may still be making choices today based on our old survival behavior. In the past, we may have been taught, if it is to be, it is up to me, and or never let anyone see you are struggling. We may have been taught that we couldn't rely on anyone or anything except our own abilities and ourselves. As recovering codependent adults, we ask God to remove our shortcomings, including our fears, self-criticism, perfectionism, and then we let go. In working step 7, we choose living, loving ourselves, and working our recovery program. Do you want me to read anything else?
Oh, I can read that. Unless, Shanna, would you like to read? Do you see it? She stopped at the middle of the page. We trust our higher power.
Oh, that's where I should
Yeah.
start?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, she has better eyes than me.
Well, she's got
No,
a book in front of her.
I've got my book in front of me.
Okay,
Do you want?
I'm
I
sorry.
can finish reading it if you want me to.
I
Make
wanna
your
go back
page
'cause I
bigger.
can hear my voice, like Kim says. We trust our higher power. We accept that we have shortcomings. We ask that our shortcomings be removed. The following are some examples of shortcomings we may ask God to remove. Okay. Procrastination, needing to do something about what we are feeling. Belief that we are in control. Fear of losing or fear of letting go and trusting. Fear of what others may think or feel about us. Fear of others' anger, dishonesty, manipulation, overt or covert, self-abuse, reacting rather than acting, our need to be right, our need to do it ourselves without any help, our inability to ask for help, our desire for others to do it our way, perfectionism, addictions, guilt, and resentment.
And there's another list. Let's see. That was that one.
Oh, on the back side.
Yeah, let me, oops, clicked on something. Did it go to a next page or did it skip around?
Yeah, it's the next page.
Okay. So I'll just finish because my brain is now on track. I was like
Okay.
listening to dogs and my brain couldn't even read. Self-righteousness, isolation, shame, self-abandonment, believe that we have to act on our feelings. When we share at meetings, we gain clarity about our self-defeating behaviors. When others share, we find similarities in our patterns of codependency. Speaking the truth and asking that our shortcomings be removed increases our awareness that a higher power is present in our lives. We accept that we are not perfect, realizing the truth that our higher power can remove our shortcomings, and by ourselves, we can't. We learn to focus on what our higher power wants for us on a daily basis. Humbly asking God to remove our shortcomings does not necessarily mean being on our knees, although some of us seek out a church, temple, or other peaceful or sacred place. Being humble, we accept our higher power's plan for us. Being humble, we also accept our place in the universe, not better, not worse, not bigger, not smaller. We may have learned in childhood that humility meant humiliation. Today, we believe differently. We may not have known that we have had a right to ask our higher power for help. Now we learn to be willing to let go and let God. We learn to accept ourselves without being controlled by what others think of us. We accept the past and the messes we created by trying to do it all ourselves. We learn humility can be a good thing, bringing good feelings. God will do for us what we cannot do for ourselves. With humility, we can ask our higher power for help with all things. Our higher power has also seen all we have done in our lives and loves us just as we are today. We accept that. It's okay, and then here's the questions. Does that show?
Yep.
Okay, so we can pause here for a second and then just chat. So I'll just stop share so I can see you guys. So in reading that and then bringing in our tools for helping us process. So I know that the first time I went through the 12 steps, which was like almost 2 years ago, I was like pulling it all in. I'm like, I got to do breathing techniques. I got to do my essential oils. I didn't do the journaling, and that's what I'm doing this time around. That's a little different. And this time I'm adding in the yoga. So if I were to go do this again right now, I would be starting with a little bit of movement. I would do some breathing, and then I would choose the oil that is going to support me in moving through and helping my body be resilient so that I can accomplish this. So, and also letting go. So hard, right? Anyway, but any thoughts that you guys have? I'd love to hear it.
I had, my feeling was, here, I can start my video here. It's interesting how just putting those things in front of you, that list, I think that helped me. Like this, like when you read our need to do it ourselves without any help, just putting that list in front of me, I think would be one of the best things for me, because then I recognize that that is something that I really don't want to have. And the other part I thought of was, we only need to do what feels good to us. And I liked how it said, this is not a results oriented. And I was like, what? We're asking him to do something for us and it's not results oriented? How is that possible? And yet, then that just let me feel like, okay, well, I can just let go, and I don't feel like I have to do anything else but doing the ask. Like, I don't feel like I have to add anything else to it. That's how I felt. Because I think the rest would be overwhelming to me right now.
Yeah. So I have my Neroli right here. And I must be feeling extra controlling this morning. I think it's because I have to create this, like get things together. My body's kind of pumping with what I need, the cortisol and adrenaline, because you're waking up in the morning, you need it to be prepared. But I'm also noticing my need for it to be right, and yeah, but I'm really glad that we all read that together. And
Yeah.
something that, if you guys have pen and paper nearby, I'm going to share my screen again. And Bonnie, welcome. I noticed you came in. Share screen.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, let me go back to that first list where it showed, do you see it? The one that says the list at the bottom?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you were to write down like, wow, those are some of the things that I know prevent me from feeling happy and free. Like the top of the list, procrastination. So I'm just gonna jot down some of the ones that I know that I would really like to let go. There's a book called Drop the Rock, and it's a recovery approved book. And in the beginning of the book, the story that they tell is it's like late 1800s. I'll set the stage. They're somewhere in like New York, East Coast Bay Area, and there's going to be a boat party, and there's a long dock, and the boat's leaving, and there's this woman named Mary, and she's got heavy, like this big heavy bulky jacket on and skirt and all that, and she's like, they're like, Mary, hurry, get on the boat, Mary, you can make it. The boat's leaving. So she's running down the dock. She jumps in the water because she's gonna make it. She's gonna get to the boat, but she starts to sink. And everyone says, Mary, Mary, you can make it. Drop the rock. And she's like, she's sinking. She's like going under. Got this heavy jacket and all that. And they drop the rock, Mary. She takes off the jacket. She lets go of the rock and she joins everyone on the boat party. And she feels this huge relief that she let go. And then they look back at the dock and there's more people running. And they say, you can make it. It just makes me want to cry. It's this story is all about joining a community of people that want you to make it. And they want you to let go of your burdens and let go of all those thoughts in the past that are holding you back and they're holding you down, you know? So it's just a precious story. The first time I read it, I was just like beside myself, you know? So, so from this list, I know that I think what was one that it says our need to do it ourselves without any help.
Yeah.
And the perfectionism and fear about what others may think or feel about us. A big one when I go to journal, even when I just picked up my old journal and I had flipped through some of the notes I had jotted down from the past, I caught myself judging it. I'm like, why are you judging a little note that you wrote or a feeling? So if we can let go of that, like don't self-judge of just what you are allowing yourself to put on paper, you know? So I'm going to write down 3 things that I would love to just let go because they're in my way of feeling happy.
So I wanted to say something about this because that isn't that interesting that you judged what you wrote down? Yes, sometimes we do that, but you were in a different place too, and maybe that was what you needed to do then. But one that shocked me when you were reading the list, one of these ones that shocked me was needing to do something about what we are feeling.
Oh yeah.
I would love to, I'm like, wait, what? Don't I need to do something about what I'm feeling?
Okay, so let's stop and do this right now. So it takes 16 seconds to sit with a feeling and let it go. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do it. So for example, if we were feeling guilt. So think of something that makes you feel guilty.
Okay.
Where in your body do you feel it? What tells you that you feel guilty?
Well,
I feel it in my stomach and a little bit in my chest.
I mean, I think it's in my chest, but I don't know if I feel it. I just think something.
So that's the mystery, Jeannie, is
What?
when we have a pattern in our brain, and we could call it an addiction, we could call it a habit.
Yeah.
If we can identify how you know you're feeling something and you follow the sensation and then you write it down. Because a chemical reaction happens in your brain when you have an emotion. So I think I was describing this to Karina a few days ago. So imagine like a little baby kitty, and someone placed it in a big sunflower, and it's on Instagram, and the little kitty yawns. Oh, and you're like, oh, little kitty yawn inside of a little sunflower. So you feel your cheeks like, ooh. Okay, that is a pure emotion, a chemical reaction in your brain. And so now, what is your body saying to you that you feel tickled? You feel joy from watching it. I feel it in my cheeks. What do you guys feel?
I guess
feel like laughing?
my laughing. Yeah.
So then you write it down and you keep following it. You go, well, what color makes me feel this way? And for me, because I was thinking of the sunflower, it's yellow. You keep following it until you let it go. You don't. As soon as an emotion, which is just a chemical reaction in your brain, as soon as you turn it into a story, it becomes a feeling. So emotion and a feeling is the story you attached to the chemical reaction you just had. So if you can keep it in your body and follow the sensations, which of course essential oils would help you do that, right? Because when you breathe it in, now you are keeping it in your body so that you can try and figure out what the heck it is.
Okay, so what about, okay, what about in this one, needing to do something about what we're feeling? What if we're feeling like, oh, I need to go, I need to write a note to this person because I think they're having a hard day. Is that the same thing?
If you were feeling worthless and you're like, how can I make myself worthy today? And it meant that you had to do something for someone else,
Well,
that might be.
yeah. What if it's just the thought and there's no negative emotion attached to that?
That's a different thing.
Okay.
It's
That's what
more
I'm
of
saying.
like in my situation, it might be like panic. And
Okay.
the old days, I'd be like, well, I'm going to the liquor store.
Okay.
That's different. You know what I mean?
Okay. So it's not, it's, and maybe too, needing to do something, maybe I was thinking about needing to do something about what I'm thinking. But if it's but if I'm feeling overwhelmed because I'm thinking these thoughts of I need to do X, Y, and Z, and like overwhelmed, yes, that is a feeling that I don't want to have. So that's when I would do something about it.
So if you have a feeling and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to clean the whole house now, that would definitely be avoiding feeling. So what you would do is you sit down and you breathe and you start to write. What is it that I'm feeling right now? Where do I feel it in my body? If you can try to follow, even if you don't know what it is you're feeling yet, you know? So I would like, I've got the adaptive blend right here. Stop sharing. So an example is I would take a drop of adaptive. This is the blend that they made specifically for anxious feelings and chronic stress, you know, so you can kind of help remap the chemicals in your brain. They make capsules of this too that work really well. So I'll just put a couple of drops. I'm going to rub my hands together. If you guys do this even without oil, just rub your hands together. This is a coping mechanism. It's a coping intervention. If you do it, this is if you can't tell what you're feeling. I don't know what I'm feeling right now, but I'm going to sit with my feelings. Now, when you stop, what do you feel in your body? I feel my feet are more grounded. Feel a little bit tingly.
So it's like feeling, or like I feel calm. Is that an actual feeling?
Yeah. Yeah. So you created an intervention for stress. Isn't that nice?
Yeah. I'll add that to my list of tools.
There you go. So, and then I added in the adaptive. So that's lavender and sweet gum. Sweet gum is actually amber. So let's see. Wild orange. What else is in this? Copaiba. 4 drops of lavender is the equivalent to a Xanax. But this is, you know, I didn't say that. So when I breathe it in, and now I'm like, okay, so what is it that I want to write? So you just kind of start like a little kid. Like, am I the only one that stopped journaling like that? I really want to get myself into doing this, and doing it together feels like the right thing. The other oil that I wanted to talk about was cilantro. Cilantro is apparently on the top of every single testing group from Johns Hopkins. So when they
Yeah.
test for antiviral, yeah, when they test for antimicrobial, all those things, cilantro's at the top of the list, even ahead of oregano. And it's a heavy
What?
metal cleanser, yeah, for all of our organs. And it's also spiritually helps to cleanse old emotion. Where's my little book?
It's interesting. My husband and I went to a naturopath chiropractor, and he told my husband he needed more cilantro. And it's like, that was one oil I didn't have, and I need to order. So I guess perfect timing.
It's in the BOGO box.
Yeah, that's exciting. So
Yeah.
two oils I already know I need. But I was like, what the heck? Why does he need a bunch of cilantro?
He must have tested high for heavy metal. Did he muscle test?
I don't know if he muscle tested my husband. He didn't muscle test me, but he said my husband had a lot of ancestral trauma that he needed to release. So perhaps
Yeah.
I don't know if that's connected or not.
For sure. I mean, like the generation of people living through the Dust Bowl, they had a lot of lack. They had not enough food or not enough things. And then the next generation became like it was hard for them to lose weight. So that's epigenetics. That's where something happens in one generation and then now it's sent into the next generation. That's why there's like the animals that, like we've like dogs and cats and what would you call that?
They my kids always use the word, but they adjust to I can't
Yeah.
think of the word.
Yeah. So, it's like Darwinism. So the animals that we kept at home, now they all hold stress like we do. Like dogs have to take medicine for separation anxiety.
Yeah.
They don't have that ability to shake off stress like a tiger can. Because they've been domesticated. That's the word I'm looking for.
I just my internet kind of went weird. What did you say about the animals? I missed it.
Oh, well, like dogs and cats, they're domesticated. So that's epigenetics. So they used to be wild and they could, if something happened to them or they almost were eaten or, whatever, they would forget all about it. They'd go in their little den and they'd shake it off and then they're fine, like a tiger or a wild rabbit, But dogs and cats, no, now they all have problems like us. They can't shake it off. They don't have that ability anymore.
That's probably from them being so in such close proximity to us taking on our energy, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it's just, that's how it is. So if you grew up, if your grandparents grew up in an environment where they felt like they needed to protect their life at every moment, and they were aware of everything going around them, they could never settle down or relax, then that is going to pass to the next generation. Where you're like, nothing happened to me. I lived a Disneyland life, but maybe 2 generations back, it was like, that like the bloody Valentine's Day in Chicago. Like, we don't know, what was going on.
Well, and my husband's grandmother passed away when his mother was 15 and she had to raise all of her younger siblings. So that, I guess, that's the closer generational, but
yeah, it's still there. And
definitely it was traumatic for her. And I'm sure she passed that on. And then
yeah. So there's genetic stuff, and then there's the things that those people said to us, It's all there, but I'm gonna read cilantro real quick. So this book is real important, Jess, the Essential Emotions. I think I sent you the link for the app. But I'll help you get your oils for BOGO, and then I'll send you the app for free.
Yeah, if you can email me them rather than text them, that'd be amazing.
Sure.
Thank you.
So cilantro is about releasing control. Oh, it's perfect for step 7.
Yeah.
Cilantro facilitates a detoxification of negative emotions and debris. It is helpful in lightening one's load through the release of issues buried in the body, heart, and soul. Similar to coriander oil, which is distilled from the seeds of the same plant, cilantro assists individuals in shedding what is not in harmony with their true self. Those in need of cilantro may attempt to obsessively control other people or manage their environment. Inwardly, these individuals may experience a great deal of worry and mental strain. They may become constricted, clinging to or obsessing over material possessions. Individuals may even hold on to the very patterns, emotions, issues, and possessions that may impair or betray their true self. Cilantro facilitates emotional cleansing, especially encourages the release of worry and control as it assists individuals in centering in their true self. Cilantro liberates soul from heavy burdens, enabling the individual to live light and free. Oh. And the emotions it releases is controlling, toxic, constricted, obsessive, compulsive, clingy, worried, and trapped.
Can you say something about, I know this is going back, but I was taking notes about what you said. Wait, how did you find out? So Johns Hopkins, when they did the studies on him, how do I find out about that? Or how
Emily
did you
Wright-
learn that?
Emily Wright quoted it.
Oh,
I'll send you it's on my Facebook, the group.
okay. So, it is, it's on the
My
Facebook that
the
I'm in.
crazy, what's the name of my group? Thriving Crazy,
Oh,
Thriving.
it's in there. I can go find that.
Jess,
okay.
are you on Facebook? I can add you to it so you can see my.
Yes, unfortunately, that is.
Yeah. We also have a private group that's on a separate app. So like people can ask real questions. So if they say like, well, what do I do for, kidney failure? What do I do for cancer? What do I do for ulcers? You can't ask medical specific questions like that on a public platform because doTERRA's got their FDA stuff balances. They can't mess with it. So we don't want to hurt their situation. So we made our specific doTERRA group private so that we have all of our health practitioners on there that are not going to be putting their license in jeopardy by answering a question like that we want people to have the information for,
What's the name of your group? I don't remember.
It's Thriving in a Crazy World.
I thought yeah, I was looking up and I couldn't see.
Let's see. Groups. Your groups. Oh, it's doTERRA Essential Oils and Products, Thriving in a Crazy World.
There we go. Okay.
But, I can.
So you recently put it on there?
Yeah, I reposted it because Dr. Sue Lawton had posted it. So, hi.
Hi. Going back, you mentioned something about amber or sweet gum. Can you repeat why you use that or how you can use that?
The adaptive. So when I'm in a moment where I can't tell what I'm feeling. So say I've got like a bunch of emotions. And usually my coping mechanisms that were negative, so like my shortcomings would be like avoidance, or I would kind of like, maybe I'm going to go eat an extra cookie or I'm going to watch TV. So instead, I'm going to go sit with my feelings. I'm going to take a drop of adaptive. The sweet gum is in this, or amber, and I breathe it in. I could do 4 deep breaths. And it's just enough to calm my body down. I'm recentered, and then I can start to write. I think as before we end, I would love to show you guys one of my yoga recovery movements. Would you guys like to do that? Okay, so I will put myself in spotlight so I can see. So you stand up. This is one that I really like, that my yoga teacher teaches. And if you get like a wide-legged stance, your feet are pointing forward. And you put your arms out. So if you were kind of like a tree. What I'm going to do is I'm going to breathe big inhale here. And then I'm going to sweep over to one leg. Exhale. Inhale, come back center. Tuck this in. Exhale, come back to the opposite leg. Inhale, come center. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I'm kind of bending both knees as I come down. Inhale. Exhale. Exhale. And let it go. And then just do a nice willowy kind of movement. It's just a way to kind of wring out your lungs and your spine. And I think it gives me joy because I love to dance. And it's something that I do in my pool. So those types of breathing where you can make sure that in a movement you inhale and another movement you exhale, in a movement you inhale, and you get into a rhythm. And when you'll notice after a few minutes, you can't think at all. There's no more thoughts. You get to be totally dumb for as long as you do it, which is such a relief for me. I hope you guys enjoy that and use that tool. I wonder what are the other BOGOs, Jeannie? Is it Purify?
Here, I just was looking at your thing.
Will you
And
share the link to it, or do I have to sign up first?
No,
Purify, Neroli, Digestion.
Justin's a good one. Well, imagine because it's like when people have
Copaiba touch.
Huh?
Oh, Copaiba touch.
Oh yeah. Love that one. I like rolling that
and-
one all over my face.
Mm.
And that's a good one that I'll put on my wrist and I'll lick it. And I give it to my dogs too. I'll roll it and then I let them lick it. I have a little poodle that he's getting older and you can tell his shoulder joint. That's a good one to give puppies for inflammation.
Can I use these oils for my multi-poo who has awful anxiety?
Yeah. Big time.
Okay, because I know people are funny about like, don't give your animals oil.
Well, you can only give them doTERRA and they have to be the right ones. You
Okay.
specifically can't give them tea tree or deep blue. I know for a fact they cannot have those, but
Okay.
everything you give them is diluted. If you've got big breed dogs, I know a lot of people that will put just couple drops of copaiba in their food. It's nearly tasteless, so they can't tell it's there, but it's so much more concentrated than a lot of people will take a copaiba and akin with CBD, except it has nothing to do with a hemp plant. It comes from a big giant tree down in Brazil, and they put like this maple syrup tap in the tree. I love that image. One day I'll go to Vermont and I'll look at those trees with the maple syrup.
So what oil did you say?
Copaiba.
Copaiba?
COP. Wait, I can't spell right now.
That's okay. You got me close enough where I got it. I've never heard of that oil.
Yeah, some people say copaiba, but it's really amazing for muscle pain, discomfort. A lot of people use it for anxiety and stress. It's used for dogs' inflammation, people's inflammation. Skin, it's really good for skin. Oh, okay. I found it in the emotion book. Copaiba invites individuals to connect with their past. It offers a deep intertwining energy that links experience to unveil the deeper meaning and messages showing up in one's life. Copaiba respects the sacred sheltering within until it is ready to emerge into the light of consciousness. It then invites individuals to become thoughtfully aware of the shadow aspect of themselves and discover who they really are. Individuals in need of copaiba or copaiba often find that vulnerable self-awareness work reveals unresolved pain and hidden recesses of their heart, mind, and body. So it's a real good one to use. I noticed that for myself in my recovery, these types of tools and information, it just really helps keep me grounded. And some of my old triggers were pain and panic. So if I can keep those in check, then I can keep trucking forward. So, do you guys have any closing thoughts before we end?
I had a thought, but I lost it a while ago. But I really appreciate this, and it's great to be able to balance one of my passions with one of my problems with other people and be in community and not like. So anyway, I'm excited to have met you and found you, and yay.
Yeah, we're happy you're here too. It's like, you're running down the dock and we're like, you can make it. You can make it. Drop your burdens, be free, and come on the boat ride.
I just remembered my question.
Sure.
Okay, so I've gone through steps 1 through 4 many times, like at least 3. And I was up to step 6 when I relapsed 2 months ago. I have a complete belief in a higher power. Do I have to start all over at step 1 again, or can I just continue at step 6?
The thing is that when that happens, we have to start over. But it doesn't mean that your inventory, the hard part of step 4, has to be done over like the same way. You know what I mean? That's
No,
a lot
elaborate.
of well, step 4, like if I say I'm angry at someone, you can literally just do a step 4 on that person. So
you don't have to do it on everyone all over again.
No, it can be on figuring out what happened.
It was my daughter's wedding on 4/20 and I smoked pot. I mean, and then I couldn't stop. So 2 months later it came. So I mean, does that, like, it wasn't like anything triggered me. It was a social thing with my active addiction or my addiction.
Yeah. So like if I went to the doctor and they said you have a shellfish allergy. You cannot have shellfish. And I went to a party and the whole thing, the buffet was shellfish.
That's my husband's life with pork.
Yeah. So in that instance, I would be like, well, I can't have any. So it has to be a belief that you find, that you believe. If you don't believe that you have a problem with something and other people around you say you don't have a problem, you're going to say, well, I'm going to eat lobster.
But I know I have a problem. I'm not denying that either. I mean, I knew. I just was like,
there's something deeper that says, I can have it.
Yeah, I didn't want to miss out on the quote unquote fun.
It's a FOMO. It's FOMO. So there's something deeper that you'll have to find. So
yeah,
it's in there.
That's what I'm working on, is finding out the root of it, because what I found was during my 6 months of abstinence from it, I was still doing, I was drinking and I'm not a drinker, but I was drinking because I wasn't smoking.
So I would say you're in the right place, just because it's emotional. It's avoidance of feelings and not wanting to feel left out. But you won't get left out here.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to put in the chat real quick where you can find the inventory sheets that I really like. I feel like they accompany that step 4 perfectly. It's called thework.com, and that's Byron Katie. So just download the worksheet. It's called, I have it right here, Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. And Jeannie pointed out to me that there's an app that you can use also. But I kind of like having paper to write out. There's something kinesthetic about writing it. Anyway, but Jess, I will I can text you or I'll call you after this so that you have the correct link to get
Okay,
the
well, yeah, either text it to me or email it to me if you don't mind. That way, because then I don't have to write it down wrong.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys have a
And
good day and we'll see you
Jeannie,
next.
I love your house.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for taking us through your house.
Sweet.
Oh, thank
You
you.
guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Welcome.
Bye. Thank you, Kim.
You're
Bye.
welcome.